Energy is infectious. You've probably heard that somewhere before, but it's more likely that you've experienced it. Have you ever been in a sour room, so to speak, and then that high energy person walks in and it's like, hey, they're here, and all of a sudden the entire mood of the room lifts? Or maybe you've been on the other side. Maybe you've been that person on the other side. You walk into a high energy room and then all of a sudden the temperature comes down and everyone gets a little bit more quiet. And it's not that you said anything. It's not that you even did anything, but what you were feeling inside of you was oozing out of you and made its way into the room. We would love to compartmentalize our feelings, but the truth is we are not disconnected beings. And the things that happen over there or back there walk with us into the rooms that we find ourselves in. The state of our interior beings always finds its way into the room with us.
Tell me more.
For better or worse, your presence speaks volumes before you even open your mouth. As a leader, you are the thermostat. You set the temperature for the room. If you come in high, the room will be high. If you come in low, the room will be low. If you're hot, it's hot. If you're cold, it's cold. And if you recognize that, this will improve your leadership. And the truth is, you don't need to recognize it. It is just a matter of fact. And so whether you want to or not, you need to know that this is a key part of your leadership. Your team looks to you to help determine its direction. As leaders, we know that culture trickles down. So who we are up here is going to trickle down to our people. If we're moody and crabby, our people are going to be moody and crabby. If we're vindictive, our people are going to be vindictive. If we hide, our people are going to hide. But if we're open and we're honest and we're vulnerable, then that is the kind of team that we're going to build. It is a sobering reality. But your unprocessed emotional state becomes your team's ambient environment. So the frustration you felt at breakfast suddenly becomes the tension in the boardroom. The grief that you're holding from a tough decision last week becomes the distance your team feels but can't quite put a finger on. It reminds me of this old comedy routine from the 90s, where this guy's talking about getting into a road rage incident and ultimately ended up getting whipped and recognizing, oh wait, this isn't my fault. We are full beings. We don't leave ourselves at the door. It's that old adage, wherever you go, there you are. All of the things swirling in your head and in your heart, it goes with you. And so good leaders enter the room not asking the question, what do I need to say? They enter the room asking, what do I need to resolve within myself before I walk in this door? What's in me that is going to come out of me that's going to affect these people in the way that I lead them? That's hard work. That's introspective work. It's the thing that we don't always want to do, but is critical in our journey as leaders. Leaders are constantly having to filter their words, the wise ones anyway. They pause and they consider how expressing that present moment of frustration can feed the room a meal. They consider how the eye roll might send someone spiraling. They know that their doubts might ignite a lack of confidence in the rest of the team. All of this leads to leaders feeling as though they have to constantly perform, that they have to wear this mask and feign confidence even when they don't have it. Big leaders carry an extra set of weight, knowing that their decisions affects the real lives of people. It's not just numbers on a spreadsheet. It's not just theory. And big leaders will often carry those decisions home with them, often to people who don't understand the weight of the seat that they sit in. And so they hold that. And maybe it goes unprocessed. And maybe it just swirls around. But it's important to name this, because these internal feelings that we think we can just keep burying, they leak into every room that we walk into. I think this is the biggest gap in leadership development. I've been to dozens of these learning and development things, leadership conferences and cohorts, and I've sat through dozens of trainings that are all focused on skill acquisition. how to communicate better, how to be more productive, how to build your capacity, strategic communication, but they lack the room or the need for inner work. They lack preparation for how lonely the road can be. And there's a lot that gets left behind on that road. The friendships that couldn't survive the promotion. There's a version of you that gets left on that lower rung on the ladder. The more reckless you, the spontaneous you, the less careful you, the more vulnerable you. Peer relationships will often change when the title changes. How many times have we heard people say, man, me and this person, we were super close, and then the moment I got the promotion, all of a sudden there was distance. There's a pain that comes when the decisions you make hurt the people you care about. Oh, and wait till the day that as a leader, you have to fire a friend or reprimand a friend or put a friend on a performance improvement plan. Leaders they carry a different kind of loss and weight with them that other people don't often understand, and that no one really prepares them for, and that few leadership seminars even begin to tackle. Growth is supposed to feel like winning, and yet so many leaders I know will tell you that it can also feel like a giant loss. Both of these things are true and can exist together in perfect tension. And there's no easy fix. There's no 5-step program for this. There's no, hey, here's 3 tips. No, this is just hard. So what can you do? I think the first thing you can do before you walk into any tense or pressurized situation is do an interior check-in. Before you make that hard phone call or step into that difficult meeting, ask, what do I feel right now? What is the purpose of this thing that I'm getting into? What's true and what's not true? You can't regulate what you can't name. So if you're feeling anxious, if you're feeling stressed, if you're feeling sad, if you're feeling lonely, if you're feeling frustrated, examine that. Ask why. Figure out what's underneath the external feeling. The second thing you need to do is find your tribe. Find your people, just a few people who know you. I'm talking the real you, who can maybe call you out on things that those who are under your leadership don't know. People who don't care about your title, who don't care about your accomplishments, people with whom you can be your full, unedited self. Those people probably won't be in your organization. It's a good thing. But my caution here is to not just surround yourself with other people who are in the exact same position as you, because it becomes its own unhelpful echo chamber. I knew one executive director of a pretty decent sized nonprofit who was in a leadership consortium of other executive directors of similar sized leadership nonprofits. And he would say, well, I'm in this group because they truly get me. They know what I'm going through. And you know what's unhelpful about that? They're all viewing things from the same way, through the same narrow frame, with the same vantage point. And when he brings his frustrations about his deputy director, do you know what those executive directors do? Oh, well, you know how those deputy directors can be. But maybe that frustrated deputy director is bringing something useful and valuable that he needs to hear, that what he eliminates by surrounding himself with people who are just like him is that valuable perspective. So you do need people. You need to find your tribe, but don't let that tribe be an unhelpful echo chamber. The third thing I would say is give yourself permission to grieve. Now, this is both personal and private. This is honest work, because there's nothing worse than performative grief. I don't need you standing in front of all your employees in sackcloth and ashes, crying and frustrated. I'm just so sad. But take some time to be real with yourself. Be real about the pain that can come in this new season of life. To name the loneliness you might be experiencing. To name the inner frustrations that you have that stem from so long ago. Leadership starts from within. And now here's why this is important. It is because your interior life is not an item on the checklist. It's not a thing you're gonna coach and therapy your way out of. This is all of life, for all of life. It's the landscape that you have to become most familiar with. My theory, and I can't exactly prove this, is that a lot of the leaders who cause some of the biggest damage in their lives and on the lives of their teams, it's almost never malicious. These are people who are incredibly unaware. They don't realize what they're carrying. They haven't traced their current pain to that moment in their past that lives rent-free in their heads. I'm talking about the person who was excluded in the 8th grade and said, I'll never be excluded again, and worked really hard and climbed to the top just so that they can feel like they belong. But now, because of that pain that 13-year-old them felt, they willed their power like a hammer. I'm talking about that person whose sports dreams failed when they were 16 and was suddenly walking through life adrift. And then their identity became their job. And now anyone who comes for that identity, they attack them. So they can't take critique, they can't take criticism. They're frustrated anytime people don't do exactly what they want to do, because their entire identity, which used to be being a really great athlete, is now wrapped up in being really great at whatever they do now. Understanding your inner self isn't woo-woo or narcissistic, all right? Because I know that's where we go. It's not this endeavor that makes you soft, S-A-W-F-T, soft. It's not that. I know that's what older generations would like to say. Working on your inner life makes you safe. Safe leaders are the ones that people run to. Safe leaders create environments in which their teams can truly thrive. Safe leaders are the ones who get the most out of their people. They're the ones that people stick around for. But the leader who's never done the work in here, that's the leader people run from. That's the leader people say, I want absolutely nothing to do with them and their leadership, and they experience the high turnover rates. And because they've never done this work, this inner work, they'll blame it on anything and everyone else. Something else that's true about the inner work, it's not really something you can do alone. And this is hard for us because no one lies to us more than we lie to ourselves. So if I sit in a hole and I get all the directors and I take all the classes and I do all of the like formation stuff and the inner work stuff because I'm reading a bunch of books and I'm talking one-on-one with someone, I can tell you that I'm more loving, I'm more joyful, I'm more patient, I'm more peaceful. I can tell you I'm kinder. I can tell you I'm better to my employees. I can tell you that I've outgrown the pain of 13-year-old me. But we only know that's true here. It's in conflict. What happens when someone pokes on that wound? What happens when conflict hits your front door? That's when we know if you are who you think you are. And I've seen far too many people tell me that they are more loving and more kind and they're so much more patient, and the moment conflict hits that door, the real them comes out. Life isn't meant to be lived alone. It's meant to be lived with others. So on that note, if you need some help in this area, I got you. A big part of my coaching practice is this inner work for leaders, because my guess is you are where you are because you have the gifts, the skills, the competency, the credentials. You got it all on paper. But that gap in your leadership, that gap is here. And I want to help you walk through that. So hit me up. Let's talk about coaching. I'll give you a free coaching call, like a true coaching call, not a sales call. 90 minutes, me and you. We'll talk. And in the end, if you want to keep working together, we can figure that out. Or you can keep doing what you're doing, and you can keep hurting people, and you can keep people running from you. Because what do I know? I'm just some guy from Brooklyn.